Welcome back, Warriors! We're so excited to have you with us for this next segment here. You learned a ton about the Ocelotl from their background, their history, their art direction, but now it's time to get into the nitty-gritty with the gameplay. And who better to do that than the person joining me on the couch today, our Lord and Savior, JC. Welcome back to the show, JC.
Hello. I'm really happy to be here. I was reading the Twitch chat before.
Yeah.
I'm finally here. I know people were calling out for me. I'm finally.
They were worried. They were like
ritual and everything.
I did, yeah. Yeah, just so you know, that works in the office, too. If you mention JC a couple times, he'll just show up at your desk, and it works great. So good job, chat. We saw you out there. But also joining us today on the couch for the very first time, we have Daniel and Jimmy, who are from the animation team, here to talk about all the animation stuff. You want to say hi to the chat, to the lovely people at home?
Yeah, hello. I'm super happy to be here with all of you. Warriors 10 is my first one. And yeah, I hope you will like the animation for this hero.
Yeah, and hello. Nowadays they call me the cooler Daniel.
Oh.
But usually I go by the name Jimmy. So nice to meet you all. First Warriors Den as well. Very happy to be here.
I love it. Awesome. So that's great. And I also see that YouTube maybe brought a little something.
Yes, right. It's not a gift, but
we got our mocap weapons ready to fight it off in the studio. But no,
yeah,
not really.
no. The one animator.
Yeah, you gotta hold it up for the camera. So
yeah, hold it up for the camera.
You gotta see. There you go. Yeah. So this is always fun because again, Daniel, Jimmy, two of the lead animators working on the Ocelotl, and they, these are the actual mocap props, right?
Yeah,
we use in the studio for these. These things are huge, so you get a really good sense of scale. Do you want to maybe tell us a bit what it was like working with these?
Well, what I can say is the first day, even not the first day of the mocap shoot, during the rehearsal, just we broke it.
Yeah,
and the actor just broke it, and then we had to say, oh my God, what we are doing. So we had to come up with a solution for it. And then, yeah, it was a little fun fact about
We made it work. We made it work.
Yeah, and I think you can see it there.
Was the solution more duct tape?
Yeah,
always.
Now you can see it everywhere.
Always
That's the best solution.
Always
ever,
more tape,
yeah.
it'll be fine. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Well, I think that's great. So yeah, thank you for showing that off. I always think it's really cool to get a little, to see some of that behind the scenes stuff of, that. So thanks for bringing those cool props on.
Sure.
But I think now we're going to get a chance to maybe pass it over to JC and take a look at the character in game as well. So
yes. Well, first we'll talk a little bit about what kind of our pillars were for this hero and stuff, right? So.
Of course.
When we, as most of you have watched Warriors and before and kind of heard me talk about these things, whenever we design a hero, we're trying to go with what our pillars are going to be gameplay-wise, right? Mm-hmm. And so this being like a hunter, a stalker, like character that kind of does that, but also somebody that we find is like very aggressive and efficient, right? So once you get in, you're efficient, you're aggressive. So that's kind of like what we were going for. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of, we'll see that reflected in the gameplay, so it's kind of interesting.
Nice.
But at the same time, what we want to make sure is that, like, sometimes we make heroes, we don't want to do something that's completely 100% different from everything, because then it makes it too difficult to kind of understand, right? So if we kind of can compare to the heroes slow a little bit to other heroes, this hero, as you will see, has an infinite chain.
Ooh,
and it's kind of like what we did with Shaolin, where you have to alternate, buttons. But a little bit cranked up.
Just to the end.
Just a little bit cranked up. That's gonna be, it's going to be really interesting. And then we can talk with these wonderful people about animation as well as we go through it. So let's get started.
Oh, man, it's going to be exciting.
So first of all, yeah, you can see him walk there. Looks really cool. All that cool stuff. Sprinting. Looks great. Get back over there. So that looks pretty nice, So we're going to do like a little emo here, right?
Yep.
So first of all, we're going to do a free roaming emo. This. Oh, death whistle.
Straight off the bat.
Just carry it on you at all times.
Let me do it again so we can have a better view of it. There we go.
Amazing.
It's really, really cool. Honestly, it's super scary.
It sounds great, too. I love
it.
Yeah.
All right, okay, so let's look at the rest of this hero's attacks, because that's kind of interesting.
Yes.
So as I was mentioning, we kind of have an infinite chain, but it's a little bit different this time, right? Because normally when we have like something like Shaolin, you can do like, light to heavy, light to heavy, light to heavy. But that's kind of cool. Yeah. But then we went, how do we take this a step further, right? And so what we came up with is every single option that you typically have. So light, heavy, zone, and bash work everywhere. So I can do light, but I can do light into a bash. I can do light into heavy, into a zone, into a bash, into all sorts of crazy things.
Oh
right?
gosh.
So the rules for chaining for this hero is every time you do the same button, or so the same type of action twice in a row, right? So if you do light, light, heavy, heavy, bash, bash, zone, zone, you go into a finisher, that's where you stop. The finishers typically are like a little bit stronger. They have like better stuff, so that's kind of interesting. And you can alternate them constantly. And each option that you have has different options. Like they have different properties and where we can go. So it's kind of like pushing some of the stuff we have a little bit more to the extreme and going into that, right? And so what's also interesting is that we really built this hero to be every single light attack is using the spear, and every single heavy attack uses the club. When we zone, sometimes it uses the club, sometimes like you can see the finisher uses both at the same time. That's kind of cool there. So I know this this caused not problems, but it's challenging for animation, right? That really that's different because it's the first time we have a hero that has two really, really distinct weapons, like real weapons, not like a shield and whatever. We have some characters that have like some hero like Peacekeeper that has like a dagger and a sword, but they're kind of similar and they're not used in the same way. So what kind of challenges you guys face when we were working on this?
If I may, if in a way it kind of focused animation because it was like a very direct way to see like, okay, well, heavy's always going to be the club and light's always going to be the spear. So in a way it focused a lot of our animation work. We were able to immediately discern and immediately make clear the animations were going to be light with the spear and all that. So that was good.
Another thing is that with the spear, we aim to have range, okay, with those pokes and things. And then with the club, we went more for the heaviness feeling, the body weight feeling, that power. And then if we talk about the chain, we went and took advantage of that inertia that the character was having, that momentum he was having. And we made a decision like, are we making him spin or not? So... yeah, like that, like you're showing it right now.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're spinning, sometimes you're not. It's like
Yes.
to make sure that
normally
feels good
with
there,
the
right?
club is when we spin because we have a lot of strength, a lot of energy going on, and then with the spear it's just we go for the range.
All right. Yeah.
One of the big challenges I find we had for the openers and finishers was to everything chained together. So we had to really make sure that every blend was like perfect for that.
Yeah, the flow of the character was really important because we only had about 3 frames in order to make transitions between the one attack to the other one in chain. So to put all together with the endless possibilities, it was sort of a challenge.
Yeah,
but,
big challenge there,
we wanted the player to have that feeling that he's never out of the chain.
That's cool, yeah. Because one of the things that, like you're talking about, like having 3 frames for chains and stuff. Like, so if I can explain like in more gameplay terms. So
Yes, of course.
but it's essentially what we're talking about here is that we tried to make sure when we're designing this hero to have almost like a blender-like quality, right? We want you to when you're facing an Ocelotl that you're scared, and to have that sort of pressure and to make sure that you really felt that pressure. We made sure that the chain link timings were as short as possible. So often enough, when if you do a light into a heavy, you see it goes very, very, very fast into the next attack. You can delay them a little bit, of course, right, if you want, but you don't have to. And if you go really, really quick, you get that sense of pressure, of that constant aggression, and really feeling like you're in a blender, right? That's kind of what we're going for. So that's super, super interesting. But it does. That's like you were mentioning. It creates a lot of challenges in terms of, well, how do we make this look good? How do we make this feel good? But that's a definite big challenge. That's really cool. I'm happy you guys really pulled it off because it's a big thing. So that's great.
And I also think it's cool, like when you look back and you hear kind of the narrative aspects of it that Ian and Raph talked about a bit, with this character and the story that was built for him. It really was like you made a very angry boy, right? Like he's very angry, right? And so you feel that a lot in his
There is
attacks,
something
right?
that I always say is that we have strong words here, strong feelings like fury or rage, wherever, brutal, vengeance. So he has a lot going on inside of him.
Yeah.
And our job is to translate emotions into motion.
Ah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's great.
I like that. Tagline.
We had in our minds in every single attack, Jim and I, Amelie, of course, she's not here. But we try to focus on that in order to make him strong. In the anticipation to build that energy, quick releases, and then during the recovery, like he gets again into balance. So,
Yeah, Well, yeah, really, really cool stuff. Awesome. So,
all right, so let's keep going a little bit into the heroes like basic kit, right? So, like I was saying, every single light, like the neutral lights are 500 ms, like we normally have. Chain lights are all 400 ms. They tag people when you dodge after you do a heavy or a bash or whatever. So, again, a lot of pressure there. Light finishers are 400 as well. So if I go light into light, that's 400. I don't think anybody can react to these things. Like we've done some tests with some pro players. Yeah, right. That's the thing.
we can. For sure.
Heavies, chains. So the chain heavies are 700 ms, really, really fast and with really quick chain link timings. Again, to keep up the pressure. Heavy finishers are unblockable in every single stance. Big swings there. I really like put a lot of like effort into like the camera angles and the
they are my favorite attacks.
It's one of my favorites as well.
Yeah, they look really, really cool, right?
Made it so it was very, very heavy on all fronts.
Yeah, they do feel heavy, even though they're quick. You do feel that a lot of the heaviness. Well, so it's really, really good. And then we have zone attacks, which are always armored. The opener one, like it gains armor a little bit later. But when you go into chains, you get armor at the first frame. They're a bit slower, but the idea there is like you're in a group fight, whatever, you typically want to use your zone attacks. So making them armor makes you harder to peel. That goes well. Heavy zone finishers as well. Like they switch sides too, so you're not super predictable. Again, you can use your armor to trade against dodge attacks against certain things, so that's great. Yeah. And then we have bashes, right? So we also have an opener bash, so from front dodge into bash. We go into this.
Nice.
One of the things that we'll see as we go towards this is that every single bash this hero has deals direct damage.
Okay.
Never has confirmed damage afterwards, although getting a 400 ms light afterwards is almost guaranteed. But, you know, there's still ways to get out of it.
Yeah.
So the neutral bash, pretty simple, 500 ms bash off a front dodge. So that works quite well. Then we have the chain version that I'm going to go into here, which is slower. Deals direct damage, but is feintable, right? We've been doing a lot of feintable bashes, especially on this hero. It's super scary. We've had some players that tested it out a little bit with us, and they're like, yeah, this is really, really cool as well. And last but not least, we have the bash finisher, which is 500 ms, deals quite a bit of damage. You have to make a read because you cannot dodge after this if I throw a light. So it's a lot, again, like a lot of that pressure and that build up there into going to what am I going to do? What's my opponent going to do? What is the Ocelotl going to do against me? And it's super scary. And with those bashes too, like we have like really unique animations here. Like everything's super different. I can go into this one where you do a big pummel strike. The finisher has the kind of cross cut there. So what kind of inspiration you guys take for these type of things?
Oh, well, at first all the bashes were pummel strikes. I believe the opener was the right side, and then for the in chain we had the pummel strike from the spear. At a certain point, we're like, these are all pummel strikes. So JC had the great idea of making the scissor move, which I found really great. And it's a really vicious move. You kind of feel like Daniel was saying, the rage of the character through that move. Fantastic.
Yeah. Super cool. Yeah. So, all right. So outside of this, we have dodge attacks. They're all on lights. They don't have massive trajectories. Again, we have to have like sometimes some downsides to the hero, but also like it feels really natural to have quick dodge attacks with this. Front dodge light as well there. So there's a little jump here in a bit of distance. So that's pretty cool. Works quite well. But there's one more little thing I think that we haven't done.
Oh, yes. Right? That's very true.
That's quite different with this hero. So one of the things that we really wanted to feel, because we have all of this, right? We have the feat set that we're also going to talk afterwards. But one of the core aspects is the hunting, the stalking, right? And so as we were developing the hero more and more and more, we're like, you know, we're kind of missing that aspect a little bit. So we ended up creating a new kind of stalker stance, prowl stance. You access it by holding down on the right stick, and you go into this, right? So when you are in this stance, there's a couple of things. First of all, you can't block. So it's really not meant to be like something defensive, even though like it's not super visible. But when you go into it, you get you do get a little bit of dodge range. Kind of like with Nobushi, it's the same timing as Nobushi, so you can dodge attacks with it. Yeah. So it works quite well. And then the other thing that's interesting here is that you actually walk faster when you are in this stance than when you're not. So an example, if I'm strafing to the right here, you see the speed I'm going at. But when I'm in that prowl stance, I'm going much faster. Faster front, faster back, faster everything. So the idea here is that we really want people to be able to use this stance to kind of like be, you know, there's a group fight happening. I'm hunting my prey. What am I going to do? And you get there. So when you are in this stance, you have one single attack that you can perform with the heavy button, which is this. So when you perform it, you jump forward, leap by quite a bit. And if your attack connects, right, you can move from really far, you get into a bit of a pin. The club gets embedded in the opponent, slice it off. So really, really good. This acts as a heavy, so you can do your heavy chains afterwards. It's a heavy opener, like what we have as heavy openers, and it's super effective. It's not the best tool in 1v1. I can warn people right away. It's not meant to be used as a 1v1 tool, but it's excellent at peeling. Right. So if you're again far in a group fight, you might be off screen. People don't really see you too much. You get into it, and then you see an opening. Boom! You go, you strike. Works super well. It's not feintable or anything, but it's really, so you have to commit to it, but it feels really good.
This happened a lot in tests too, just so people know. We were like testing it out. You'd be just, playing a Dominion game, then suddenly this just Ocelotl comes flying in from off screen. You're like, okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right. But what's also cool here is that this requires a lot of work from animation. So you want to walk us through a little bit, like, what goes into making that sort of stance there?
Okay, first of all, the stance, like the character is a little bit low. We can say that. And he's not static in that stance. So, which means we had to go to mocap and record a whole navigation like that.
Yeah.
The mocap actors did an amazing job. So shout out. They did amazing.
Yeah.
And back and legs, I would say.
Yeah.
So
he's gonna be feeling it for sure.
Yeah.
So
I remember we shot it on I think on a Monday. And the Tuesday, the guys came back in, and you saw they were hurting. It was obvious. They're very, very professionally trained, like stuntmen. They're amazing. They're really, really good people. They're doing an amazing job. But it's still very, very it's hard.
An amazing job there.
Was it tough to go and convince the mocap actors? Like, hey, so we just kind of need you to crouch for the next like 2 hours.
A little bit more.
Just walk
and
everywhere.
Can we repeat this, please?
Do it again. Crouch better.
We can always modify it like with our software, but it takes longer. So when we have like really good data, it's everything. We can put everything together like way faster.
Nice.
Yeah.
And for the attack, I would say that the challenge here as an animator, we always exaggerate poses, and it was the range that he's covering there. So the challenge was to keep it not cartoony, right?
Yeah.
To give the level of to make it realistic, and as much as it fits the For Honor universe.
Yeah. And so one thing that people that you haven't been at mocap, it's kind of interesting to kind of talk about. Whenever we actually do mocap, when we do navigation, we call navigation when you're moving around. Like we're asking the actors or stuntmen to really go and they have to walk, run in different like directions, do figure eights, all sorts of stuff, so we can get like every single movement, how the legs are placed, how that stuff works. So it's a lot of work, it's a lot of stuff, but it ends up looking amazing. So I think you're super hyped.
Yeah, you absolutely see it in the final results. The end product here is like incredible.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. So we've looked at this. Let's look at executions right now. Right.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Spin attack. Well, I did a spin attack before. I'm going to do it again.
Go ahead.
Do it again.
Right. So that's pretty cool. I can do it, and then it counts as an opener. I can walk in, go back into every finishes if I want. So all good stuff there. That works really well.
That's the only attack he flipped.
We tried doing that move earlier.
Yeah, we were trying like
man, it was heavy.
It's rough.
I don't know how the actors did it.
Cool. Okay, so Jimmy, if you want to remove your infinite health.
Yes. I don't.
And arena settings. Yeah. You go to the first one.
Here.
No. Back to arena settings. Sorry.
There
No.
You want
to
do
Nolan,
I think quick settings and then you go there.
Yep.
there you go.
All right. Okay. So we're gonna look at executions, right? So I'm gonna go.
It really just demonstrates the blender.
Yeah.
So execution number 1. We're a club. Jump to opponent. Bam.
Yeah.
So good.
Get them off. Pretty brutal, looks pretty cool. Respawn. Okay, so let's do this again. We're gonna go through all 4 of them. So
Just never stop pressing buttons. That's the goal. Oh, right. The knee.
Like this one, I love this one. It's like so.
The Daniel special.
Right. So clearly, right now we're on stream, so we
cannot
escape
show
the blood
the-
and stuff. We don't show the blood, but it's quite bloody.
When you see it in game, it's
yeah,
gruesome.
It's something.
it's quite bloody. So again for the third one. So a bit faster execution, right? Works quite well. And then finally, last but not least, alright. There we go. So that's the fourth execution here.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah.
Fall right on the spear, right?
That's my personal
So
favorite.
that's what we did at mocap, right? We had one guy like jump like that and fall into the spear and
Yeah.
just
Yeah, for
Not
real.
into the
We
spirit.
lost an actor
we went
that
to
day.
the
It was really
hospital
sad.
afterwards, but I mean,
But we got the shot.
Yeah,
we got
what
the
we
shot.
did, right? So
We
that's
got the
good.
shot.
All right, okay. So now we've gone through the entire fight kit. So let's prep quickly to go into showing what the feats are, because that's quite unique.
It's nuts, and you know that's again, it's incredible. I gotta say, just to go back to the work the team did, and you know, because this was a big team effort to get all this animation work in. I know you two were like the lead animators on this, but we also had other members of the team working on this. So just big shout outs to everybody who really worked hard on the animations, the audio, the effects for all this. It's
Other
it's
departments,
just
yeah.
so good. Like the work was incredible.
Everyone did their part, and it shows, man.
Yeah,
GD side, animation side, sound, everything.
yeah. For sure.
GPP, like at some
Yeah,
point
yeah,
with the
like that.
Feats, UI,
So
like
we'll see through the feats when we go through them, right? But the first feat in particular, like it was a massive joint effort from VFX people,
Yes.
code, game design, everything. It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It was a complicated thing to do, but I think the results speak for themselves. It's really,
we're
really
gonna
cool.
see it.
Yeah. Big shout outs here, like also to the game design team, like my team, with Noel and Costa. They're like two amazing game designers. They worked super hard on the hero. Like it's always a team effort, right? We always work all the way together. But they were in charge of the hero, like in making sure everything there was good. So
And y'all did amazing.
Oh,
by the
yeah.
way, so big.
Really
Noel
big.
Costa.
I do a heart,
Just
but I'm holding it
Amazing.
controller.
That's fine. I'll do the hearts for you. It's good.
All right. Okay. So we can switch to there. Okay. So this is what's going on, right? So as you see, 4 feats. First 3 are passive. The last one is active. So we'll go for the first one because I think it's the crazier one, right? So Jimmy, if you wouldn't mind killing me, please.
By the way, Chad, if you're not sitting down, now's a good time. Sit down. If you're in a car, buckle up. If you can just find a seatbelt anywhere, just give it.
Just not execute me. And
Right.
okay. So now, oh no, I died. What's happening?
Oh no.
Oops.
Oh,
I
man.
respawn. So this is what the first feat does, right? So whenever you die and you're not executed, or you don't die from like traps or get ledged or whatever, you get back up in spirit form. You can run around the map, go anywhere you want, and respawn wherever you'd like, as long as you're not too close to enemies or allies, or in ladders. You can run around, you can go up ladders if you'd like. Let me just go here, right? You go up a ladder.
You're faster.
You're also faster, yeah, that's true. You're actually running faster, so there's a bit of animation there. I can go here. Oh, okay. It looks good here. Respawn here. Right? Back capping. Super crazy, super dangerous. Really, really cool stuff. So the first feat really is about repositioning. We'll do it again just to make sure that there's a couple of more things to talk about, but essentially it's around the concept of life and death, especially for these warriors, is whenever you end up perishing and dying, you get back up and you can position yourself. So you can kill me again if you'd like.
I've never played Jason.
Just if you want.
If you want, otherwise you don't have to. But yeah. So another thing that's important to see here is that the feat always activates. There is no cooldown to it. So every time you die on the battlefield and you're not executed, like I said again, this always happens. When you get back up, your health is really low, and it slowly goes back up.
Yeah, you can see it
regenerating slowly over time. So we really want to do this for balancing purposes, so that we had some tests that we did, and we had versions where you were at full health when you got back up.
Oh, I remember those days.
Yeah.
Right?
Remember those
started
days.
like at halfway and it goes up.
Just
You can see it's like it's rather slow right now, and that's really on purpose because we don't want you to be able to just, you die in front of somebody and you get right back up, full health. They're not healed up. You're just gonna destroy them. they go through the blender, surprise, you know. So that's really cool. The other important thing here is that you see there's like respawn in how many seconds. You have a minute to choose to respawn. If you're too close to enemies against you can't respawn here. If the timer expires, you respawn back at your home point. So you really have to like, kind of respawn wherever you like there. And it's super good. So, right, so if whenever you get killed or whatever, you can go, you can back cap, you can look at the battlefield, see what's going on. Maybe spawn, you see a group fight, like, okay, I'm going to go help my ally. You go respawn a little bit out of it. Do, you know, go into this, help out your opponent, help out your ally, rather. So that, it's pretty cool, right? There's a lot of good stuff there that works really well.
I think it's also important to mention there that even though you're seeing JC's perspective here and you get the cool silhouette as you're running around in that form, your opponents cannot see you.
Yeah, right. Like if you want to, like you can do it again. Well, actually, I'll
please kill me.
It's a brutal stream today, guys.
Fun fact about this feat: we had a lot of realization ideas for the feat 1 revive animations. They turned out to be way too long, so it was very ethereal. The actors were moving around and being revived, but for the sake of gameplay, we had to cut a lot of those animations out.
So, So right now, Jimmy's somewhere. I have no idea where he is.
He's somewhere.
He's somewhere. I don't know where he is. Like, he might respawn in my face. He might respawn at my home point. He might respawn at my opponent's point. I have no idea. I do not know where he's going to respawn. And then I'm like, where is he? Where is he?
He's scared.
Oh, no, he's there. He's capping, right? So that's kind of like a big part of this feat that's super interesting there.
Oh, man.
It's very, very unique, very different. We've never even tried to mess with this.
Yeah.
I know our programmers were having a field day where we told them, yeah, we're gonna start to look at you know, doing stuff when you know, and moving around when you're dead and see how that goes. They didn't like us, but in the end they did an amazing job.
Yeah,
we worked together, so it was great. Okay, so let's go to the other two feats because we don't have infinite time here. So the second feat is kind of like Aztec Killer Deterrent. Right, so
I like it. I like
to put it. Right,
I think we should change the name.
Right, yeah. So what it does is when you actually kill an Ocelotl here, so you see on top of my head, I have a little marker, and I also have a buff and a debuff. The buff is for the third feat, but the debuff is on me. So essentially, when you kill an Ocelotl, you get revealed on the map, and you get a defense debuff for I think it's 15 seconds. So it's not really necessarily like a buff for your opponent that they're going to be able to see you, the one you killed specifically, but it's also to kind of like deter people from focusing on this hero too much. Right. Because if you end up killing an Ocelotl in a group fight, you're probably going to die afterwards. Right? You get a significant defense debuff. You got to be scared a little bit. So that's kind of interesting here. We really want to make sure that, like, again, the feats play with life and death and what happens when you kill an Ocelotl and what happens when you get killed as an Ocelotl.
Nice, nice.
And so the next one, when I kill any hero, right here, I'm gonna do here. So third feat activates. So the third feat is whenever you kill an enemy, execution, whatever, you gain a speed increase and an attack buff. So again, it's like really, really strong. You get into a group fight, you kill somebody, it's gonna be easier to kill other people in that group fight.
Nice.
So again, with that life and death stuff, you manage to kill your prey. You get pumped up. You go, yeah, all right, cool. I'm going to be able to do more stuff, and you kill more people. So that's really, really good. Again, short cooldowns on those are passive. They pretty much trigger every single time you either die or you kill somebody. So that works really, really well.
Nice.
And then last but not least is Feat 4. So for Feat 4, we're trying to do something a little bit different here. Vanessa, when we started working on this hero, the legendary Vanessa, really wanted to go, you know what? We have like this big spear. I want to throw it and bring people back to me, right?
Sure, yeah.
So what do we do here? We throw the spear, get the opponent back to you, and then you get into a guard break. So Jimmy's going to perish, unfortunately, but it's okay.
Due to the other fact of that.
What happens is when you throw that spear, the cooldown also, we're on like super fast feet, so don't worry about it. The cooldown, this is not the actual
It's okay,
cooldown.
chat. It's okay.
Okay, right? So what ends up happening is that you throw the spear, when it connects, it deals a little bit of direct damage, a significant amount of bleed damage, pull an opponent towards you, and then you get into a guard break position, which means you can throw somebody, or you get another free heavy afterwards. But when I say throw somebody, you know, you can kind of, oh no, there's a ledge here. What's going to happen?
Where can you throw somebody?
You're going to see when
he's going to die again.
Cool down.
Anticipation.
He's not going to die before I throw him, I think. So let's do this. And then, Oops, there's a ledge. Oops.
So
Almost there, right?
So close.
We missed
works. Trust me, it works. Not every single time, but it works. So you have to be careful. You have to be really close to the ledges. But that's the type of thing you can expect, right? So you can use it to do a lot of different things. If there's any obstacles between you and the target you're pulling, like once you've hit them, if you pull them towards you, they're gonna get stopped. So you can't just like pull somebody through allies or enemies or whatever. So you still have to be careful when you use it.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. It's a projectile. So again, in group fights, you know, you're external. You throw it, pull your opponent towards you, get a heavy. Your allies get a heavy off of them as well. All sorts of good stuff. So it's a super it's a very, very good fight, honestly.
Yeah. And was that tough to do for y'all? Like kind of like you forcing them and dragging and like
Right.
Was that a little tough?
That feat wasn't an easy feat.
Right, yeah.
So we had a precedent before with other characters to do sort of a grappling thing. So we based ourselves of that for this feat, and we used a similar system with the graphs where we had first an animation for the grappling itself, then we needed a loop for the target to reach the opponent. Once that loop was done, we also needed another animation for the drawback, and after that we branched into the guard break, which was an addition we did by the end of this.
He got it.
There you go.
Sorry.
Yeah. So all these systems work together to
It's
make
more the
this
technical
cool feat.
side, I would say.
Yeah, this is a pretty technical side of
Yeah.
it. Animation-wise, it was relatively simple. It was more the technical side that was a challenge.
Yeah, because we have to like sync with VFX as well, have the rope,
That's
all
right.
that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
All that stuff is built through like VFX systems, so it's really interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, you can just grab your opponent, get him over here, and then do something you want with
Yeah,
him.
get it
That's
over
good.
here, yeah.
Yeah, it's just.
But yeah, so I think that's pretty much it for this hero's movesets and feats.
Oh boy,
So,
that's a lot.
it's a lot.
That's a lot for the
It's a lot,
Ocelotl. It's a lot. Yeah, and I think just to kind of summarize there, if I can, some of my key takeaways of don't kill one, don't get killed by one, and if you see one, just run because they're coming for you. Okay, the Ocelots are coming for you, and they will kill you. So.
Yeah.
It's good. They're terrifying. You made a terrifying hero. Noel, you made a terrifying
We
hero.
made a terrifying hero, yeah.
Oh my gosh, but they're so much fun. They're so much fun to play. Oh my gosh. Okay.
So much fun. So yeah, so I mean, like honestly, big props to everybody involved.
Yeah.
Like especially the first feat involved a lot of people from a lot of
Lot of work.
disciplines.
Oh yeah, a lot of work.
It's a lot more work than we typically do for a feat, especially a feat one. But like kudos to everybody, like the GPP team, like our programmers,
Yep.
game design team, animation team, VFX team, art team, everything. It was a disaster to make, but in the end, the result is completely amazing.
Pull it off.
Super excited about it. So really, really good. And again, thanks to you guys. You did
Thank you.
an amazing job on the animations and stuff. Like it's spectacular. They look great. Like one of the things I really like just this, right? That top light finisher looks so cool.
Oh
with,
yeah,
the way
it
that
was
you,
all
like,
you.
yeah.
It was all you.
No.
There's a
I'll
lot of
share the
really-
credit, you know.
Okay,
like-
we'll share it.
So there's a lot
Okay.
of really cool looking stuff there. So
Yeah.
like really, really amazing job. And so I don't know if you guys have any closing thoughts for the animation team here.
Thank you to my team for all the feedback. That's why we came up with this.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Support we got
something
from the
else.
animation team and the
Vanessa
GD side
Amelie
too.
also. Yeah.
Vanessa, Amélie.
Yeah, you're the best.
There
So
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all so much then for all the feedback and for sharing with us the process
Thank
and
you
all
for
that and
having
going
me.
over the gameplay. Thank you, JC, for the really extended deep dive into this. I hope that was super cool for all of you at home. So we, what do we got? July 27th, so next week, just as a reminder, if you want to play all of this awesome stuff for yourself, next week, all right, the Ocelotl will be releasing live. You'll be able to pick it up for the real cold hard cash, but 2 weeks afterwards, available for Steal as well. So keep an eye out for next week. So thank you all again.